Long Island, New York hosts race number 11 of the NBCS season as the Cup cars go road racing for the second time here in 2025. Hello out there, we're on the air, and it's race day today in the Empire State. It's a balmy afternoon in Sag Harbor, New York, as we're here for today's coverage of the NR2003 Mission BBQ Cup Series race, the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix. Once again, welcome everybody to today's Intercast on the North American Sim Racing Network. I'm Trey Wright, and Bridgehampton has provided plenty of fireworks both on and off the racetrack and is one of the most underrated road courses on the Eastern Seaboard. 13 turns of high-speed action make today another fantastic day for road course racing. And with the track temperature, these cars are going to be sliding all around the hot track surface for 28 laps on Long Island. Corey Case won under the caution flag last week at Texas World on the Out of the Groove 500, and things got spicy in the point standings with a 40th place run from the points leader, Angel Gutierrez. As we take a quick look at the point standings after 10 races ran, Gutierrez still leads by a decent margin over a quiet but dangerously consistent Logan Williams. 85 points separate the 28 car from the 17 machine. The 64 Esteban Lasser fell down to third. Carson Miller in his 8 car rose up to fourth. And Bruno Diacomo's 79 car fell down to fifth in the point standings, a full race's worth of points behind Gutierrez. The only driver that was in the top 10 prior to Texas World was Dylan Matthews in the 75. And Rogel Dorn and Eric Monaco would be your two wildcard drivers if the chase for the Cup started here this afternoon at Bridgehampton. Of course, we still got a long ways to go, but all these drivers on the grid trying to get a good run here today, and 108 points behind Carson Miller. 6th through 10th, however, was the big shakeup from Texas World, with Alex Lozano, Riley Sampson, Dylan Matthews, Corey Case, and Daniel Bouchard all being inside the top 10. 4 of those drivers were not in there prior to Texas World. Still a long ways to go as we come here this afternoon. But drivers come to Bridgehampton with a similar mindset to Watkins Glen International. This is a blinding fast racing facility, especially right on the start, going into the first set of corners. The handskin corners in turns 1 and 2 are going to be Calamity Corner all afternoon long. And like we saw with the Grand Touring race on Monday, turns 1, 2, and 3 are going to be Calamity Corner all afternoon long, especially on that ultimate lap with the field diving in double file, all packed in together like a couple of sardines. But after the first few laps, when things get strung out, these drivers just need to run their own race and make sure they've got the perfect pit strategy to not only get a top 10 finish, maybe get a top 5, or even take home a trophy here in the big 2025. But with that being said, it's that time of the broadcast again, which means it's go time in Bridgehampton. Let's go down trackside to get the most famous words in motorsports to fire the engines for the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix.
Drivers, start your engines!
42 cars come to life here on Long Island, and we're all ready for 28 laps of road racing action here this afternoon. Trying to end an 0 for 87 race streak is Brendan Wilmington, his last win at the Cup level, coming on the road course at the Denver Motorsports Park back in 2021. Meanwhile, a driver whose lone win on the channel comes on the lefts and the rights, your GT Daytona winner. From Willow Springs back in February, Alexander Rowe will complete the front row here at Bridgehampton. Row number 2, populated by a couple of previous winners here in 2025. Dylan Matthews, your Daytona 500 champion, will start in 4th. Nano Georgi will complete the starting podium. Your Oregon winner starts in 3rd. And there is the Barstool Sports machine of John Andrews trying to end an 0 for 84 race streak of his own in that 7 car. He's got some tough competition right next to him. The defending winner of this race from last year, Skylar Taylor, will start in the 6th starting spot. The rest of the field rolls off of the pit area. There is a look at Angel Gutierrez, starts deep in the field in that number 28 machine. He's got a lot of work to do if he wants to keep his points lead over Logan Williams alive going into Chicagoland. Field rolls through Echo Valley into turns 5 and 6. Taking a look at the track itself, on paper, Bridgehampton looks like your run-of-the-mill road course, but then you take a look at the elevation and you begin to realize just how much of a beast that this racetrack is, starting with the first pair of corners, the Hansgen turn, which are going to be Calamity Corner all day long. Like we said in the pre-race show, right off the start is where all the action is going to be happening. Turns 5 and 6, right where Brennan Wilmington was about a few moments ago, is the highest elevation point on this racetrack. Then 7, 8, 9, 10, and turns 11, all downhill through those corners, through the valley of the lefts, and into the light bulb, the lowest portion of this racetrack. Through turn 11, the field will go through the Eastern Straight, underneath the Lawn Bra Bridge, and through lucky turn number 13 to complete a full lap here on the 2 8/10 of a mile road course. It's going to be a 28-lap race this afternoon with the stages completed at laps 7 and 15. Pit window will officially open up at lap 16, so just after stage number 2 will come to its conclusion here for the race to the end. 3 previous winners of the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix are Josh Williamson, Brendan Yodel, and Skylar Taylor. Taylor, the only returnee from that trio. Like we said, she starts in the 6th spot in that 45 Costco Camry. Underneath the Lawn Bra Bridge goes the field. They will do 28 more circuits underneath that bridge here. As the Dodge Challenger pace car will go into the pit area, Brendan Wilmington ready to pilot his 62 machine down the front straightaway. Fans come to their feet, a beautiful crowd out here on a beautiful afternoon in mid-May on Long Island, and there's the green flag being displayed from the flag stand, and let's get on the go in Long Island, boys and girls. And Alexander Rowe already a little off track there in the 84, and around goes Bruno Diacomo into the woods and out of the ballpark. Big wreck in the back there. At Zachary Fitzwater, Diacomo's destroyed, as well as the 28 car of Angel Gutierrez. At Home Depot Chevrolet crumpled up there. Rogel Dorn was also involved. His bad luck streak will continue. Same thing for Charlie Davenport, and Bruno Diacomo's entire rear end of that Hers Camry is destroyed. So it's back-to-back races where Bruno Diacomo will be taken out here in a fault none of his own. Meanwhile, Brennan Wilmington will retain to the race lead here. 3 cars that started on the inside lane will be the first 3 cars going into the light bulb for the first time under speed. Goodness gracious, what a way to start this race. We knew that there was going to be action, a little bit of chaos on the opening lap, but Diacomo sailing through the woods backwards there. Surprised he was able to stay in New York. Thomas Troxel, Keegan Thompson, Campbell Marsh among the victims there on lap number 1. Same thing for Nathan Stapleton in the number 97. We'll see how many cars will dive onto the pit area. Oh, and nearly taking the front end off of that 31 car was Thomas Troxel. But Brennan Wilmington will lead lap number 1. And the off course there goes the 23 car. These cars are going to be looser than Red Light District woman in Manhattan here. And look at Campbell Marsh hanging both rear end tires off there going through turn number 2. But everybody will get through. The hands can turn under their own power that time by. And it's about 5 cars all underneath of a blanket being led there by Brennan Wilmington as he goes through turn number 6 into the valley of the lefts for the second time today under speed. Mitchell Collins looking for his first win of the season. Remember the year they had last year, winning 3 races late in the going. 2 of them back-to-back in the final 2 regular season races to be able to point his way in. He's looking for that elusive 7th win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, if I'm not mistaken. He is looking to tie Keegan Thompson and Eric Monaco on the all-time wins list here in the North American Sim Racing Network. He had a good starting spot. Started all the way up in the 7th spot, right behind John Andrews. He's made his way up to 3rd. John Andrews has lost a little bit of ground ever since taking 3rd away on that opening lap. So Bruno Diacomo will rejoin the field. Oh boy, Lasserre's got to be careful getting around that 79 car. He is going to be very loose off the corner. Same thing with Michael Lewis. These guys got to be careful going double file through here. Again, you see how loose Toby Murphy got going through the corner. Everybody will be able to get off nice and easily as Caleb Rose right now caboosing the tail end of this field. Scratch that, it's Angel Gutierrez, Thomas Troxel, and the 98 cars. The 98 car of Charlie Davenport that are at the end. Nobody, amazingly, was knocked out from that lap 1 crash. Everybody was able to make repairs, but there was no mortal damage somehow to any of those cars involved. Everybody remains on the racetrack for now. Charlie Davenport bringing up the rear in that 98. We'll have to see how long it is until that Rheem Ford Fusion gets lapped here by the rest of the field. You see the look into the fuel cell of that 98 car. Not exactly something that you're supposed to see, but nonetheless, he's rocking his way around Bridgehampton. Brennan Wilmington will come across turn number 13. He will lead this field back to the start-finish line to begin lap number 4 of the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix. In case you're just tuning in, you missed quite a lot on the opening lap. To go underneath of the Bridgehampton Bridge into the turns 1 and 2. You see all the tire marks there from the Calamity in turn 1 and turns 1 and 2. On lap number 1, a little bit of contact. There's Corey Case doing some agricultural work. He is able to save it after contact with Giacomo Stricken 79. Giacomo taking another run at that 63, and the 79 is going to hold up Roberto Crown Jr. there in the 21, and he is going to hold up 2 lanes of traffic going down the Millstone Straight into corner number 5. Giacomo very slow on the racetrack. Juan Rodriguez looking for a lane around him. Same thing for the 4 and the 07. Daniel Bouchard looking for another top 10 run here. Trying to find a way around that 79 there. Rodriguez will do so. Now the hard part is there for that 21 of Crown Jr. Trying to keep that number 21 car in the 15th spot inside the top 15. There's a look at Carson Miller on the 8 fighting with Bradley Rheem. That is for a top 20 spot right now. Matt Wolf also back in there in the 38. Same thing for Alex Sanvitale. Braden Perez among the drivers fighting for positions. There's Eric Monaco to the inside of Roberto Crown Jr. That's going to be another spot that Roberto's likely going to lose here. He continues to be stuck behind that 79 car. Bouchard will go to the inside. Hubert will also look to peek to the inside. Miller trying to bite off a little bit more there. They got to be careful going double file through the corner. Crown Jr. a little bit squirrely off, and everybody will keep it straight for now. Going through turn 1, Stapleton hanging a couple of Hoosiers into the dirt there. But everybody will keep it straight for now. And we didn't think that the lap traffic would come into play just yet in this contest. We thought that everybody was going to be knocked out here. Speaking of not being knocked out, Brennan Wilmington trying to set sail in that 62 car. It has been, like we said, 87 races since Wilmington has gone to Gatorade Victory Lane. Got to go all the way back to the Denver Motorsports Park in 2021, where he hunted down Ryan Durrani after taking 4 tires when Durrani took 2 on the lone pit stop of the afternoon. And with a last lap pass in turn number 5, the first carousel. Over on the eastern part of the track, Wilmington was able to snooker away his 3rd career win in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series, if I'm not mistaken. In fact, it his 2nd win at the MBCS level. I do always forget that Brandon Wilmington does have that specials race, that special win. I think he won the actually he won the first ever race here on the NASRN, the whatever the heck it's called. The New Year's 500, all the way back quite some time ago. But the top 7 cars pulling away from Skylar Taylor, who right now is 5.5 seconds back from that 62 machine, trying to run her own race. And again, like we said in the pre-race show, these cars are going to get strung out here as this race goes on. It's road course racing. That's kind of what the deal is here on these road courses, except Papyrus. Papyrus is its own breed. Papyrus isn't even really a road course. It's mostly just an intermediate with right turns. And by right, I only mean singular, because you just got turns 3 and 4 there. So technically 2 right turns, but it's that fearsome right-hander. But nonetheless, Skylar Taylor trying to back up her win from last year with another top 10 run here today. She's quite a ways away from being inside the top 5 or even going for the race lead. Brenna Wilmington has dominated that category. A couple of dodges trying to race back and forth for position here. Mitchell Collins to the inside of Georgi. Collins looking for his first win of the season, and he'll think better if it tucks back in line going into turn 1. Whoa, look at John Andrews. How about that? The Saturday's 2-for-1 special there for the Barstool car. What a move to the inside. Picked off both of those Dodge Chargers, and it puts another Camry out front here. Goodness gracious, what a bonsai move. It was a huge gamble, but John Andrews, who should be playing in Atlantic City slots tomorrow night, absolutely paid off there. I don't think I've seen a move like that in quite some time, but John Andrews saying, you know what, I'm flying the Barstool colors here today, like I have been here all season long, and I might as well do something here. Do something that Cletus McFarland would like to do there in that Barstool Sports Toyota Camry for MHE. What a move there, but it may cost him in the long run with how much tire wear he potentially used up. But John Andrews, 1 corner, 2 positions. He's up to second as he tries to fight down that number 62 car. Wilmington rolls through turn number 13 for the 7th time this afternoon. Down onto the front straightaway, he will rumble. We'll get a quick flyby of the field here, going underneath of the Bridgehampton Bridge. Top 7, all within a couple of car lengths of one another. How about Michael Lewis caboosing the top 10 right there? And Corey Case will go to the inside of Logan Williams. Looks like Logan Williams sustained a little bit of damage on the opening lap of this race, but he's right now rocking P13. Not a top 10 run that he would like to have, but if he's able to repair a little bit of that damage on the pit lane, and our only pit stop of the day is stage number 1 was completed that last time by, so Brennan Wilmington will win stage number 1. Michael Lewis will get the last stage point of the afternoon. But trying to repair the damage on the next cycle here would be Logan Williams. He might lose a couple of spots on the pit lane and would like to have a solid top 20 run. Of course, with Angel Gutierrez struggling in the number 28 car, and Igor Barreto with an early stop in the 13. Not sure if there is something amiss there on that 13 machine, but he will make an unscheduled stop here with 20 laps to go in the Long Island Grand Prix. He'll fall back into the clutches of Caleb Rose. And like we take a look at that 28 car of Gutierrez, caught up in that opening lap crash. And kudos to that Home Depot crew, being able to use some Makita tools there on the pit lane and, you know, remove the front end from the 28. He's not going to worry about any overheating issues. That's for a fact. I'm surprised that the oil cooler was not completely busted in. You see the radiator sustained a little bit of damage, but nonetheless, able to get that Chevrolet back out on the race surface. And if anybody else really screws up on the track, he could be in position to pick up a couple of spots here. He's running 37th, which after last week at Texas World is not what you want. Still better than absolutely nothing. You're likely going to lose the points lead as Nathan Stapleton will come down the pit lane here on lap number 9. We know that these guys can do about 16 laps. Do they potentially come down earlier and make this a 2-stop race? We saw this in Mexico back on Monday, where everybody short pit to make it a multi-stop race. But we knew that it was going to be a 2 or 3 stop race back in Mexico. We didn't expect these guys to already be coming down the pit lane here. You know, Igor Barreto comes in. You know, he chalked it up to a potential mechanical failure. Maybe he's just doing an off strategy. You know, Nathan Stapleton, him coming in as well, that signifies to me that he also gained some damage on that opening lap. So that's what it signifies to me. He's trying to repair a little bit of damage there. maybe short pit, put on some fresh Hoosiers later on in the run. Brennan Wilmington dominating with the track position right now, leads by his widest margin of the afternoon so far, a 2nd and 31 hundredths. Over John Andrews, who has still been rocking that penultimate position ever since passing both the 71 and the 34 cars. Danny Fallington looking for his 2nd top 5 finish of the season, if I'm not mistaken. Right now running just inside the cusp of that spot, Alexander Rowe, who was fairly close at Talladega. Right now running in 6th, right behind that 16 machine. Dylan Matthews, like we said, top 10 of the points the last couple of weeks. Top 10 run would be huge, especially given the troubles that her competitors have had. In fact, the only driver that is inside the top 10 of the points that's inside the top 10 right now, actually Esteban Lasser, is right behind Skylar Taylor in that 9th spot. But yeah, Mitchell Collins is also here as well. Dano Georgi trying to get back inside the top 10 in that Boy Scouts of America / Hitchco Dodge Charger. Same thing for John Andrews. Brennan Wilmington did not have the start to the season that you want in that 62 car. He might catch up to Charlie Davenport before this opening set of pit stops. He has been closing on that 98 ever so slightly for the last couple of laps. Of course, you see the entire rear end has been knocked out of that 98 machine of Davenport. Wilmington just running his race right now and trying to see how many top 5s that Danny Fallington has. He does not have any top 5s. So Fallington trying to get his best result of the season here this afternoon. Still plenty of time to go. We're not even at the halfway point of the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix, but hey, anything can happen. Of course, Fallington's lone win at the Cup level coming at Willow Springs last year. Alexander Rowe, another Willow Springs winner. Of course, it was in the big 2025 this season. And Skylar Taylor will come down to lap number 12, and she was running in the 8th position. See if anybody else joins her. Daniel Bouchard will come down the pit lane as well. So it looks like we're going to see a similar situation to what we saw in Mexico back on Monday. Drivers short pitting. Both of these drivers were in the FMGTC race. They know how to short pit. That's exactly what they're going to do now. Looks like it's just 2 tires off the jack there for the 07 car of Bouchard. 2 tire stop as well. No, it's going to be, I think that's going to be a 4 tire stop for Skylar Taylor. So 2 tires for Bouchard, 4 going around for Taylor, it looks like. But that will open things up here. Pit window wise with 3 laps to go in stage number 2. We'll see when Brennan Wilmington comes down the pit area. Again, Wilmington's only 2 wins at the Cup level. One coming on the Super Speedway back in 2020 at the Coca-Cola Super Speedway, and the other coming back in 2021. Other than that, his only other win, again, coming back in 2020, was the All-Star race, which will be happening again, and Wilmington will come down the service area. Same thing for pretty much everybody else except Collins and Alexander Rowe. And lap number 13 is going to be the magic number. And everybody is going to short pit here, and I mean just about everybody. It's feeding time here on the pit lane at Bridgehampton. A couple of stragglers staying out, but lap 13 looks to be the magic number here. It's Brennan Wilmington will come down into the service area in that 62. Dano Georgi right behind him. Looks like it'll be all 4 Hoosier tires going around that 62 machine, and pretty much everybody will be taking 4 fresh Hoosiers all the way around. Wilmington off for the gun. We'll get out in time, 14.69 off of the jack. Ooh, a two-tire stop there from Roberto Crown Jr. We'll see how much track position he gains. Not as much as you would think. Crown Jr. will come back out as all these other drivers have to be careful getting around these cars coming off of the pit area. We saw this in last year's Grand Touring race where drivers kind of lapaging one another coming off of the service area as Owen Miles trying not to be stuck behind the stricken 79 of Bruno Giacomo. Back at the front, Mitchell Collins. Cycle around. We'll see if he comes down the pit lane this time by. He indeed will. Alexander Rowe is going to stay out a lap, and he might try to cut this race in half. I don't hate this strategy from Alexander Rowe, or he is going to be using every drop of octane race fuel in that 84 car. It might bite him on the rear end in terms of the overcut, because Wilmington right now is going through turn number 11. We'll see what the interval is, because these guys have been pitting at around the 15-second mark, filling their gas tanks full of octane race fuel. As Thomas Troxel will come out of the pit lane. We'll have to see what the order of the day is in the 84. If he maybe even goes 2 tires there and just fills it up with fuel. 14.36 from Alex Lozano. That looks to be the fastest lap of the afternoon. He is actually tied with Campbell Marsh for the fastest lap so far. Off course goes John Andrews. He is able to save it. Oh boy, Dano Georgi. Hanging Hoosiers off of the course. And he is going to lose a couple of spots to Skylar Taylor. Remember, she's short pit. She's got a little bit of momentum as the 34 and 75 are out of the pit lane. But meanwhile, a 9-second gap that last time by, a 37-second gap between Alexander Rowe and Brennan Wilmington that last time by. I imagine Rowe will come down this time by, and he will. So Brennan Wilmington, it looks like, as Wilmington will go underneath of Charlie Davenport. Will likely re-inherit the lead here. Danny Fallington will be up to 4th next time by. And the other stragglers will come along and join Alexander Rowe. Rowe all the way down pit lane into that number 2 pit stall for the outside pole sitter. Brennan Wilmington putting the chrome horn to the back end of Charlie Davenport, but Charlie is not relenting. Going through turn number 13 goes the hopeful race leader, Alexander Rowe, just coming out of his pit stall. This is going to be very close going into turns 1 and 2. And by very close, I mean missing it by about half a mile there was Alexander Rowe. And he's got to be careful not to get run over by the rest of this field. Ooh, Fallington a little bit loose, and up the embankment goes Dylan Matthews. She's going to slide all the way down, nearly gets clipped by Owen Miles. Dano Georgi also going around in the 34. He is able to gather it back up and going. 2 cars fighting for the 7th spot will go all the way to the boondocks there. Tough break for Dylan Matthews. And Owen Miles avoided death by a mere few feet there. And Benny Watson cringing as his other entry for Otter Island Motorsports will sustain damage. Dylan Matthews, who looked to have a promising run here starting in the 4th spot, will go all the way down to the 30th spot here in that 75. A tough break right out of the pit stall as we're about to complete stage number 2 right here. Alexander Rowe still trying to warm up those Hoosier tires, but stage number 2 will go to Brennan Wilmington. He'll see the proverbial green and checkered flag, and it is an absolute dogfight back in here to get some stage points. Rowe continuing to lose time, and look at Daniel Bouchard, more drivers on the pit area. Bouchard already came down. He's going to come down for a 2nd time. And I think that now that we've reached the halfway point in the race, Bouchard is like, we're able to cut it halfway. Let's come down the pit lane now and fill up with race fuel. He's going to take 4 more tires. Interestingly enough, that is a very bold strategy, Cotton, as Keegan Thompson plays bumper cars with Alex Lozano going off of 2. It is a bold strategy. I would like it if there was a little more track position involved. Again, Wilmington is going to have to come down one more time, more than likely. I think the only car that can make it from here is Alexander Rowe if he saves enough fuel. You know, he almost got railroaded by about half the field coming out of the pit area. But he was able to survive his fall, and he's only down to 6th, so it's not terrible for Rowe by any stretch of the imagination. Scratch that, he is in the 7th spot. See if anybody else comes around, and it's not a race on the North American Sim Racing Network without us missing a pass for the race lead. John Andrews is able to get around the 62. Wilmington not able to get around his teammate of Caleb Rose. John Andrews will put the Barstool colors out front here on the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix, and these 2 cars are going to be going at it here. Both of these drivers come into today with losing streaks extending back to 2021. It has been 3.5 years since either of these cars have been to Gatorade Victory Lane. For the 7 machine for Macklin Hannibal Enterprises, it has been never. Ethan Lewis was not able to bring that car to Victory Lane in his 3 seasons in the machine. John Andrews will be stuck in here, and he's trying to bring car number 7 to Gatorade Victory Lane for the first time in NBCS history. Actually, I believe it will be the 3rd time. It will be the first time for the car itself, for the Barstool car. I think Nelson Reeves was able to get it to 2 wins back in 2021. But now the battle is on here for the race lead, and this is going to be the biggest talking point that we see. Wilmington didn't lose any sort of time on the back end of John Andrews, so he is going to be right on the rear end of that Barstool Camry. Like a smoker in a pack of Winstons here. I guess a pack of Marlboros. With the Marlboro flag stand sponsoring the starting box here today. 11 laps to go in the Barstool Sports Grand Prix. It's Charlie Davenport. Oh boy, a little close for comfort there with Owen Miles. Miles is able to keep that 05 car ramrod straight. Still looking for his first win of the season. He is another driver that has a losing streak extending back to 2021. And the 05 car up to 5th for the Tropical Vibe Celsius Tropical Vibe Ford Fusion. I'm just hoping that we didn't mess the pass for the race lead there, as Caleb Rose was holding up Brennan Wilmington. And if that ends up being the difference maker, it's going to be a long, long trip back to Charlotte there for those Pacific Racing boys. I know Caleb Rose is not in the good graces of Brennan Wilmington right now for holding him up. A little bit of a Robbie Gordon moment back from Sonoma in 1999, if I'm not mistaken. Make that 2000, I think it was either 2000 or 01. John Andrews will see 10 laps to go. All 10 digits displayed from the flag stand. Half a second behind him is the 62 car of Brennan Wilmington, but remember, both of these cars are going to need to come down the pit area once again, we believe. They can go about 15 or 16 laps. They went 13 laps the initial way around. Which would bring them to about lap 28. If they stay out on that final lap, there is a very good chance they could run out of fuel. The only car that we know for certain can make it here in this pack is Alexander Rowe in the 84. Everybody else is going to be very, very skittish when it comes to fuel. We know for certain that Skylar Taylor cannot make it in the 45. And everybody else if they try to save fuel, are going to be running on empty Eagle style. Taking a look at the rest of the field, Zachary Fitzwater and Carson Miller among the drivers that topped off on fuel. Everybody is still in this race somehow. Even given the garbage that went on lap number 1, everybody is still on the racetrack. So you know what? Well, we got a couple of moments before second set of pit stops potentially starts here. Skylar Taylor will stay out, so let's quickly go downstairs and go through the field presented by Fram. John Andrews leads the way in car number 7. Brennan Wilmington in second. Danny Fallington will round out the podium in third. Skylar Taylor is fourth. Owen Miles is fifth. Mitchell Collins sixth. Alexander Rowe is in seventh. Esteban Lacera is eighth. Michael Lewis is ninth. And 10th is Juan Rodriguez. 11th is Logan Williams. 12th, Ryan Durrani. 13th, Eric Monaco. 14th, Alex Vitale. 15th is Dano Georgi. 16th, Matthew Hubert. 17th is Braden Perez. 18th, Bradley Ream. 19th, Rogel Dorn. Top 20 caboosed by Logan Alexander. 21st is Keegan Thompson. 22nd is Elijah Gordon. 23rd, Toby Murphy. 24th, Caleb Marsh. 25th is Alexander Rowe. 26th, Matt Wolf. 27th, Roberto Crown Jr. 28th is Daniel Bouchard. 29th is last week's winner, Corey Case. The battle for 30th heats up between Angel Gutierrez and Riley Sampson, who is currently 31st. 32nd is Reggie Fogelman. 33rd is Igor Barreto. 34th is Carson Miller. 34th is Carson Miller. 35th is Cole Sampson. 36th is Zachary Fitzwater. 37th is Nathan Stapleton. 38th is Dylan Matthews. 39th is Thomas Troxel. 40th. Back in there, or one of these guys back in here, is Caleb Rose. Charlie Davenport is 41st. All the way back in here is Michael Lewis, comes down the pit lane. 42nd is Bruno Diacomo. That'll round out your through the field presented by Fram. 42 cars remain on the racetrack here, with just a couple of laps until the next cycle of pit stops will officially begin for your race leaders. Fastest lap of the race belongs to John Andrews in the 7. The fastest pit time so far still is 14:36, it looks like. And Carson Miller, looking on our score sheet, had an oil leak in the 8 machine. So that is why he came down the pit lane early on for a second stop. But he is able to come back out. He is able to make it to the end, I should say. Does John Andrews have enough to potentially make it to the end? We saw Caleb Rose do this in Mexico on Monday. These fuel strategy races are always some of my favorites here to watch on the North American Sim Racing Network, to call on the North American Sim Racing Network as well. There's nothing that is more exciting than a fuel strategy race. I know some, you either love them or hate them. I personally love them. But these drivers and crew chiefs right now are hating it. Andrews with a 0.6 of a second lead last time by, and he will open it up by 0.15 of a second over Brennan Wilmington going into corner number 1. Thomas Troxel will move to the outside, and he is going to door slam the 62. Wilmington able to keep it straight, but that is going to ruin a lot of his momentum going through Millstone. And a bad second half of the race, getting worse there for Brennan. Not what you want there. And the aerodynamics, but with fuel being such a question, you want your car to be perfect. And getting chopped like that by a lap-down car is not what the doctor is going to order. And Brennan Wilmington, rightfully furious on the radio right now. Doesn't look like there's a whole lot of damage to the passenger side of that 62. Or I should say the driver's side of that 62. Looks fairly in order on the side panel. The rocker panel is remaining in place there as far as we can see. Wilmington remains in second, and that gap might increase as they go up through the Eastern Straight. Igor Barreto is back down. Same thing for Angel Gutierrez. They are the lone 2 cars that are down the service area. Andrews off of turn number 13 will come in. Same thing for Brennan Wilmington. This is the money stop here on lap number 22 We'll see if these drivers go fuel only. Does anybody elect to take tires? Alexander Rowe can make it to the end. We know that. Mitchell Collins will stay out an extra lap. Everybody coming down for their final pit stops of the afternoon. We'll take a look at the race leader of John Andrews. 2 tires going on the right-hand side of that 7 car. He'll be out and away. What does Wilmington do? Jack will drop away. He goes. Andrews will get out in front. How much of a lead does he have over Wilmington? Meanwhile, the 23 car, Matthew Hubert, ends his day on a wrecker. Heavy contact there. I believe he may have gone off through turn number 2. Take a look at the replay irregardlessly. I don't see anybody else with a whole lot of damage. But Matthew Hubert will be the first casualty of the race. 23 laps into the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix. Braden Perez is in for his final pit stop. Coming around to 5 laps to go next time by. And you're playing a game of Russian roulette if you're staying out here. Back at the front of the field, Mitchell Collins shows the way in car number 71. He will stay out on the racetrack. Same thing with the 84. Right now, Alexander Rowe is trying to save as much gas as he can. You can hear him punching the clutch, going through corner number 1, going down the front straightaway and into turn number 1. Off track goes the 71 of Collins. He was trying to scrub off speed there, and Collins very slow on the racetrack. Here comes Rowe trying to find a way around that Tag Heuer Dodge Charger. For a second there, I thought Collins may have been out of fuel, but he was just trying to scrub off speed there and regain his momentum, catching up to these lap down cars. Where does Collins go underneath of the 00? Alexander Rowe, we believe that he can make it to the end. We don't want to put all the chips in the center right now. Given when Rowe pitted, we believe that he should be good to the go. And right now, Eric Monaco. He was one of those cars that came down for a second time, I think. As everybody else came down the pit lane that last time by. Or a lot of drivers came down, I think. I don't know. This is what broadcasting remotely on Fox Sports looks like, I guess. Collins to the inside of Perez. Troxel will hold up the 84 of Rowe. When does Collins duck down the pit lane? It's not this time. Rowe, meanwhile, thinks about making it 3 wide. He'll make it 2 wide past the 00, and he'll go to the inside of Troxel here. 4 laps to go in Bridgehampton. The 2 Brook Boys garage owners. Nose to tail there as they are put a lap down. Brendan Wilmington right now with 2 tires trying to cut his way through the rest of this field. Same thing with John Andrews, but they have got a long way to go and a very short time to get there. Eastbound and down here at Bridgehampton with 4 to go. They are hoping that everybody ahead of them will come down the service area. How about Alex Sanvitale? It might be in vain because I believe he may have to come down once again. But Sanvitale, right now rocking P number 4, right behind the 4 car, the Unionville, New York native of Eric Monaco. This is a home race for Chevy Power Racing and the boss man for CPR right now with a good podium run for the moment. Trying to see where the other CPR cars are right now. Bradley Ream is right now in 5th, so it's 2/3 of the CPR cars in the top 10, in the top 5, I should say. And Reggie Fogelman deep in the field in the 27th. It's been a little bit of a rough start to the season here for Fogelman in these first 10 races, but here we go. Mitchell Collins could not make the distance. Alexander Rowe will go to the point. Same thing with a lot of drivers. And by a lot, I just mean Alex Sanvitale. I expected everybody else was going to potentially come down here. Davenport is in. Same thing for Toby Murphy. 3 laps to go. Eric Monaco did stay out. Does Monaco have a little bit of fuel saved up in that 4 car? And can Alexander Rowe pedal that 84 machine to the end? Rowe started second on this race here this afternoon. Was the only Ford to start inside of the top 7. Mitchell Collin or with Ryan Durrani being the other Ford that was inside the top 10 with 3 laps to go. John Andrews will move all the way up to the 7th spot, if I'm not mistaken. Bradley Ream will move up to 4th, I should say. Alexander Rowe trying to play the fuel game to perfection. He came down on lap number 15. And he's going to try and stretch it here. Coming around the Arden's turn for the 3rd and final time today. He will continue to remain on the racetrack. Sticks high in the Long Island air. 2 laps to go as Eric Monaco could not go the distance. Monaco will surrender. Same thing for Bradley Ream in this 2 CPR cars. Will come down. Same thing for Logan Alexander. Alex Lozano will elect to stay out. Same thing for John Andrews, who will take the 3rd spot away. It's incredible that Alexander Rowe is sporting the rookie stripes on that 84 car. He has been a stalwart of the NR2003 scene for the better part of 10 years. But this is his first season here on the North American Sim Racing Network and trying to get Fallout Racing their first win as an organization. He has got a 14.5-second lead over Alex Lozano. Lozano, I think, would love to have another podium run. It would be the 3rd straight podium finish for Lozano, the way things run right now. It will be the 2nd straight runner-up finish for Lozano, which that regard is a little bit frustrating, but 1st, 2nd, and 2nd, nothing to really be frustrated about. So Alexander Rowe will come through turn number 13 for the penultimate time. He'll remain on the racetrack. White flag is out. 2 8/10 of a mile remaining here in Bridgehampton. By a wide margin, Alexander Rowe leads. As Alex Lozano stay on the racetrack? He will. The win will come up short for John Andrews and Brendan Wilmington more than likely. But Alexander Rowe is through Calamity Corner nice and easily here, going down the Millstone Straight for the final time. Through corner number 4 goes Alexander Rowe. Rowe just trying to tiptoe his way through the tulips here. The Daytona, Florida native trying to win here in the Empire State. Entering the Valley of the Lefts for the final time under speed. All 8 cylinders firing in that 84 car. He has got a 14.5-second lead still over Alex Lozano, who is showing no signs of slowing down either. Through turn 11 for the final time. Through the Eastern Straight, underneath of the Lowenbra Bridge. Playing the fuel strategy game perfectly to a T, coming off of turn number 13. Mark it in the history books. Alexander Rowe, finally a winner here in the Mission Barbecue Cup Series. Alex Lozano through turn 13. He will pedal that 11 car home to his 2nd straight runner-up finish. What a point streak it has been here for Alex Lozano over these last 3 weeks. John Andrews will come home in a much-needed 3rd, and the battle for 4th heating up, getting around. Brendan Wilmington will be the 71 car of Mitchell Collins, who comes home in 4th. Top 5 rounded out by Brendan Wilmington. It looks like the top 10 will be rounded out by Eric Monaco by just a hair over Esteban Lasser. And it sounds like Alex Lozano has officially run out of fuel. But a fuel-saving masterclass here. the 84 machine of Alexander Rowe. We'll take him to Gatorade Victory Lane for the second time this season on the North American Sim Racing Network, and for the first time in a Cup car. Alexander Rowe will win. Alex Lozano, John Andrews, Mitchell Collins, Brandon Wilmington, your top 5. Miles, Taylor, Fallington, San Vitale, and Monaco, your top 10. There goes the fuel there for Alexander Rowe, who is going to try to coast it. He's going to try to coast it uphill, Marcus Ambrose style. He is going to run out of gas. We'll see if Juan Rodriguez gives him a lift here. Taking a look at everybody else. Ryan Durrani retired from this race, as Alexander Rowe will park it right halfway down the Eastern Straight. Durrani and Hubert were the only retirees from this contest. 40 cars finished the race, and 33 of them, or 34 of them I should say, were on the lead lap. As Alexander Rowe, he's just trying to move that 84 car back and forth. This race went one lap longer. Rowe would have ended up stalling out right where he is right now. Played the fuel strategy perfectly, and he's just going to get rear-ended behind there by Rogaldorn. So Rogaldorn is going to chunk another WeatherTech Ford. Oh my goodness. What a race. What a finish. Like I said, fuel strategy races, you either love them or hate them. I love them to death. And Alexander Rowe, once again, playing the fuel strategy perfect to a T. And that shows that veteranocity that the driver of that 84's car has got. First ever win for an organization for Fallout Racing as well. The boss man gets it done. And that's going to do it here. From the Bridgehampton Race Circuit, congratulations once again to Alexander Rowe for winning the Barstool Sports Long Island Grand Prix. We'll do one again next week up in the Windy City out west in Chicago. The Uno Chicago Grill 400 of the Chicagoland Speedway airs at 8 p.m. Eastern next Friday, May 16th. Night race under the lights in Joliet, right here on the NAS Around. Good morning, good afternoon, and good night, ladies and gentlemen. Here are your point standings after race 11 of the 2025 NBCS season. And from Sag Harbor, New York, on behalf of the North American Sim Racing Network, my name is Trey Wright. Have a great evening, folks. We'll see you next week at the track.